a year of soaring anthems, bold reinventions, and unforgettable riffs. These are 10 rock songs from '83 that we'll never forget. Tracks that lit up the airwaves and left a lasting mark on music history. Number 1, Every Breath You Take by The Police. In the summer of 1983, one song quietly took over the world. It became the track that seemed to be everywhere. Written by Sting during the collapse of his marriage, the track disguised heartbreak and obsession under the polished sheen of a love song. The Police recorded it at AIR Studios on the Caribbean island of Montserrat with legendary producer Hugh Padgham. The tension between Sting and drummer Stuart Copeland was at an all-time high. They reportedly recorded their parts separately to avoid physical fights. Yet somehow, that creative friction gave the track its hypnotic restraint. Sting laid down the bass line on a rare upright electric bass, while Andy Summers improvised the iconic arpeggiated guitar part in a single take, a minimalist riff that would become one of the most recognizable in rock history. The sparse arrangement let every note breathe, creating an atmosphere that was both intimate and unnerving. The song spent 8 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and top charts worldwide. Its black and white music video became an MTV staple, adding to its haunting allure. Number 2, Rock of Ages by Def Leppard. The moment that Strange Countdown blares through the speakers, you know what's coming. Rock of Ages hit with precision, a towering blend of power chords, layered vocals, and attitude that helped launch Pyromania into rock history. The song was recorded at Parkgate Studio in East Sussex with producer Robert John Mutt Lang, who pushed the band to embrace a layered, high-gloss sound that still hit with force. From the moment the track opens, it sets the tone for something loud, catchy, and unforgettable. That opening line, total accident. It was just Lang's nonsensical vocal warm-up, but it stuck.
I think you have something to say.
Joe Elliott later said the phrase gave the song a weird identity, like a rock hymn with its own language. Musically, Rock of Ages thrives on a massive chorus and an infectious riff, combining metal muscle with pop structure. Released in May 1983, it shot up the Billboard charts and became a staple of MTV and rock radio. But more than that, it gave the band its signature shout. Number 3, Let's Dance by David Bowie. By the early 80s, David Bowie had already reinvented himself countless times, but Let's Dance marked a seismic shift. It wasn't just a new sound, it was a new Bowie and ready to take over the charts on his own terms.
Put on your red shoes and dance the blues.
The title track was recorded at the Power Station in New York City and produced by Nile Rodgers of Chic, whose influence gave the song its unmistakable groove.
While color lights up your face.
Bowie handed Rodgers a rough demo that sounded more like a folk tune, but told him, make it a hit. Rodgers delivered in blending funk, rock, and dance into something cinematic and bold. Stevie Ray Vaughan, still largely unknown at the time, played lead guitar. His sharp, bluesy solo cut through the track's glossy sheen and gave it an edge that kept it grounded. Bowie, always a step ahead, insisted Vaughan keep his raw tone. No studio polish, no softening. Released in March 1983, Let's Dance became a global hit, reaching #1 in over a dozen countries. The music video, shot in Australia, was just as ambitious, using vivid imagery to comment on Western consumerism and cultural exploitation. Number 4, The Flight of Icarus by Iron Maiden. For a band known for speed and aggression, releasing a slow-burning mid-tempo single was a risky move. But that's exactly what Iron Maiden did, and it paid off. Recorded at Compass Point Studios in the Bahamas for their 1983 album Peace of Mind, the song marked their first serious push into the US market. Producer Martin Birch gave the track a wide open mix that let each part shine, from the galloping rhythm to Bruce Dickinson's soaring vocals. Lyrically, Dickinson reimagined the Icarus myth through a lens of rebellion, casting the doomed flight as an act of defiance rather than failure. His performance captured both the weight and the lift of that idea. Adrian Smith's guitar work added just enough drama, balancing melody with bite. Despite some backlash from hardcore fans for slowing things down, the song became Iron Maiden's first American radio hit, and a key step in their global ascent. Number 5, New Year's Day by U2. It started with a bass line, simple, hypnotic, and just a little off-center. Adam Clayton was warming up in the studio when the rest of the band leaned in, and within minutes, the foundation for New Year's Day had taken shape. The song was recorded at Windmill Lane Studios in Dublin during sessions for War, U2's third album, and their most politically charged work up to that point. Bono originally wrote the lyrics as a love letter to his wife, but the story shifted after the band saw news footage of the Polish Solidarity movement, transforming it into a song about resistance and hope. The piano line gave it a haunting pulse, while the Edge's guitar, sharp, echoing, and deliberate, carved out the band's emerging signature sound. Bono's voice pushed between weary and defiant, capturing the tension of a world on edge. Released in January 1983, New Year's Day became U2's first international hit and the track that announced them as more than just post-punk hopefuls. They were aiming for something bigger, and this was the moment it started. 5 down, and 1983 is already proving why it was such a turning point in rock. But now, it's your turn. Which track from that year still hits the hardest for you? Drop your favorite 1983 rock song in the comments, and let's build this list together. All right, let's keep it going. Number 6, Rebel Yell by Billy Idol. The story goes that Billy Idol came up with the title at a party after watching the Rolling Stones downing shots of Rebel Yell bourbon. He liked the phrase, scribbled it down, and the next day, he and guitarist Steve Stevens started building a song around it. They recorded Rebel Yell at Electric Lady Studios in New York City with producer Keith Forsey, who pushed Idol to balance his punk sneer with a more polished, stadium-ready sound. The result was explosive. a blend of synths, snarling guitars, and a chorus that begged to be shouted back. Steve Stevens' guitar work was just as essential. His rapid-fire picking and dive-bombing solos gave the song its pulse, cutting through the mix without losing the beat. Meanwhile, Idol's vocal performance walked a tightrope between menace and seduction.
Want to set us free, and if you hear about me, because...
Released as the lead single from his second album, Rebel Yell didn't climb the charts immediately, but MTV changed that. The video turned Billy Idol into a full-blown icon, fusing his leather-clad image with the song's defiant energy.
With a rebel yell, she cried more.
Number 7, One Thing Leads to Another by the Fixx. From the first angular riff, it sounds like something's being unraveled. One Thing Leads to Another isn't loud or aggressive. It's calculated, twitchy, and full of nervous tension. The kind of song that doesn't need to shout to leave a mark. The Fixx recorded it at Farmyard Studios in England for their 1983 album Reach the Beach, with producer Rupert Hine helping them craft a sleek, high-gloss sound that still felt edgy. Built around a tight rhythm section and new wave textures, the song walked a fine line between pop accessibility and post-punk bite. Lead singer Cy Curnin wrote the lyrics as a response to political dishonesty, layering his message under abstract phrasing and vocal urgency. His delivery is cool and detached, but the frustration simmers just below the surface. When it was released as a single in the US, it caught fire on radio and MTV, climbing the Billboard Hot 100 and cementing the Fixx as one of the more cerebral voices in early 80s rock.
Tell me something wrong, I know I listened too long, and then one thing.
Number 8, Fake Friends by Joan, Jett, and the Blackhearts. Released in spring 1983 as the lead single from the album, it was Joan's sharp response to the industry games and backstabbing she faced after the success of I Love Rock and Roll. The track was written with longtime collaborator Kenny Laguna and recorded at Kingdom Sound Studios in Long Island, where the band leaned into a rawer, more defiant sound. Musically, Fake Friends stayed close to Joan's no-frills rock style, tight drums, snarling guitars, and a vocal that sounded like it could cut glass. But underneath the simplicity was a pointed message, a punk-rooted refusal to play nice just to keep the spotlight. Though it didn't match the commercial heights of her earlier singles, it became a fan favorite, especially among those who saw her as more than just a novelty on MTV. It was a reminder that Joan Jett didn't just sing about rebellion, she lived it. Number 9, Who's Behind the Door by Zebra. It begins like a whisper, clean guitar arpeggios floating in space, a voice asking questions no one can answer. Zebra recorded their self-titled debut at Studio in the Country in Bogalusa, Louisiana, with producer Jack Douglas, best known for his work with Aerosmith and Cheap Trick. But Zebra's sound was different, more progressive, more intricate, with a sense of mystery baked into every track. Frontman Randy Jackson handled vocals, guitars, and keyboards, building the song's layered structure around shifting time signatures and soaring dynamics. Lyrically, it felt almost philosophical, a sci-fi daydream about the nature of existence, wrapped in the language of rock.
Open up the door.
Released in 1983, the track became an unexpected radio success, introducing Zebra to a national audience. It didn't follow the trends of the time, and maybe that's exactly why it still resonates. Number 10, Say What You Will by Fastway. Some songs don't overthink it, they just hit. Say What You Will was raw, loud, and full of swagger, the kind of track that sounded like it was recorded with the windows down and the amps cranked. Fastway was the brainchild of Fast Eddie Clarke, fresh off his run with Motorhead, and bassist Pete Way of UFO. Though Way left before the album was recorded, the band kept the name and the attitude. They tracked their debut in London with producer Eddie Kramer, whose credits already included Hendrix and Zeppelin. Say What You Will became the standout, a no-frills rocker built on Clarke's sharp riffs and Dave King's raspy, blues-drenched vocals. It didn't try to chase trends or polish the edges. That was the point. Released in 1983, the song became a surprise hit on US rock radio, helping the band gain traction just as hair metal was beginning to dominate. Fastway never quite broke into the mainstream, but for those who found this track, it hit like a shot of pure adrenaline. Still not ready to leave the 80s behind? Then check out 10 rock songs from 1987 we'll never forget. More anthems, more legends, and a whole new sound just waiting to hit play.